Manchester City hit with an FA charge for failing to control their players in Sunday's 3-3 draw with Tottenham. But Erling Haaland is going to escape without any further punishment to him for his actions in the very controversial ending to that game. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, after Sunday's 3-3 draw with Tottenham, Manchester City have been hit with an FA charge for failing to control their players after the incident which saw Simon Hooper blow for a foul on Erling Haaland after Jack Grealish was seemingly through on goal. The incident left Manchester City and Erling Haaland in particular absolutely raging with fury as advantage wasn't played by the referee when Grealish was seemingly in a very good opportunity to almost win it at the end for Manchester City. The aftermath of this has led to Manchester City not only being fined or being charged by the FA for failing to control their players for surrounding the referee Simon Hooper, but it also led Erling Haaland to be absolutely furious with the referee, seemingly shout expletives and use strong language towards the referee, go on to social media and X, formerly known as Twitter, to voice his frustration with that particular decision. But the Norwegian striker is set to escape any further punishment towards him. We're going to be talking about this particular issue and about referee and FA Premier League consistency. But before we go into all of that, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both ones are always and very greatly appreciated. Also, get involved in the comment section down below as well. I'm sure I have a lot of interesting thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That make for great interesting reading on this particular topic. So do get involved down below. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk this FA charge for Manchester City and, of course, this escaping of an FA charge for Erling Haaland. Now, first and foremost, I think it is right what has happened to Manchester City as the club. They have been found to have obviously been surrounding the referee, and there is obviously going to be, and we've talked about it for a few weeks actually, that there is going to be some sort of crackdown on not just player but also manager sort of criticism and abuse of referees and the authorities that be in the game. Guardiola himself was very cautious about his own words during the post-match press conference when talking about it. He even made the comparison to Mikel Arteta and said that he wouldn't be making any kind of Mikel Arteta-like comment in light of obviously Arteta's own comments when Arsenal lost to Newcastle several weeks ago, in which obviously he criticised the referee, and the FA were very quick to jump on that and obviously make an example of the Arsenal manager. Guardiola wasn't going to be following suit. He made a comment towards that. He was very careful in his approach to what he said. The same, obviously, though, couldn't be said about his players, who, of course, surrounded the referee Simon Hooper after he made a horrific mistake, in my opinion, to not allow play to continue when Erling Haaland was judged to have been fouled. He was fouled, but he still managed to regain his balance, play the ball over the top of the Tottenham defence. Jack Grealish was seemingly through on goal. Now, some people claim that obviously he was never going to get the ball, he was never going to get into the penalty area in the first place because of the recovery runs of the defenders or whatever the case may be. But that isn't the point. The point isn't whether or not Grealish would have got there in the first place. The point isn't whether or not Grealish would have gone on to score that particular opportunity. The point is that the referee made an absolute howler in denying a possible goal-scoring opportunity. Regardless of whether you think he would have took it or not, the possibility was certainly there, and the referee made an absolute howler by not playing the advantage. It was a poor decision. It left everybody raging. Like I say, the players surrounded the referee. They are rightly being charged by the FA for it. And to be fair, I think it could have happened a week earlier as well, because as we know, we have seen teams in the past get charged by surrounding referees. Manchester United used to do it under Sir Alex Ferguson. Arsenal have done it. I've seen Liverpool do it. I've seen other teams do it, and they've all got charged for it. Should be no exception, and obviously the FA see it that way to the point where they are charging City for it. So that is 116 charges now for City, for anyone that's counting. No, but in all seriousness, City are going to get charged for it. It's going to be just a fine, a small fine. It will be like peanuts to them, so it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm more interested and bothered about Erling Haaland's case. And the fact of the matter is that Erling Haaland is seemingly going to escape any further punishment, or at least that's what everybody is saying, in regards to how he reacted to, of course, Simon Hooper's absolute howler of a decision. Haaland was seen very angry, very sort of ferocious, angry Viking-like towards his aggression and anger towards the referee for making that mistake. Now, in a world in which the Premier League, the PGMOL, the FA, and whoever else are seemingly cracking down on abuse of referees, I've done numerous videos calling out VAR, and within those videos you can find where people in power have been saying that they need to crack down on this, they need to stop players abusing referees because it's filtering down into lower leagues, and it's not right because we're not getting many referees, and this is happening and this is happening and everything, and it's wrong for the game, and it's wrong for young fans to be taking into account what professionals are doing and trying to set the example and blah blah blah. How is he escaping a punishment for this? It just seems weird to me that you would go through all of that trouble to explain all of that kind of stuff in great detail and great length, only for you to then, when the time comes to actually produce a punishment, you not to follow up on it. Now, admittedly, this kind of dissent did lead to, I believe, Erling Haaland picking up a yellow card in that game. So there was actually some sort of level of consistency for a level of dissent within the game. Now, whether it was just because he picked up a yellow card and nothing was said about it, I don't know. But at the end of the day, what he did in the build up to obviously that to obviously the build up to the whole of Manchester City seemingly surrounding the referee, being absolutely angry in the way that he was, storming off down the tunnel afterwards, and then taking to X to voice his frustration even further by posting the acronym WTF over an original tweet, which was talking about the incident that led to obviously the fury of Haaland and the rest of the Manchester City players. It just seems weird to me that the FA wouldn't take any further action against him. Like I say, surely that should come under some sort of level of abuse, criticism, challenging, bringing the game into disrepute. The kind of things that Mikel Arteta was charged for by basically saying that, in his opinion, the decision that saw Newcastle's goal stood against Arsenal was a disgrace, and he was embarrassed to have seen it. I just find it weird, the kind of level of hypocrisy in that particular thing. And I know it's a player and a manager, so it's different in that regard, but is it really that different overall? Not in my opinion. And if I can bring it back to another player comparison, earlier on in the season, Virgil van Dijk was sent off against Newcastle United. Within that tackle, Van Dijk wasn't happy. He felt like he either won the ball or maybe that he wasn't deserving of a red card, whatever the case may be. He felt like he was a bit outdone there by the referee. He went on to have a very verbal rant, a very verbal argument, using strong language towards match officials on the day, and the FA made an example out of him. The FA not only gave him a 100k fine, a 100 grand fine for what he did, he was also given an extra game ban for his red card, on top of his red card. Why is Van Dijk treated differently to Haaland? I'm not saying it because it's a Liverpool thing. If it was somebody else, I would have used them as an example. But obviously, that's the more recent thing that has happened that is very similar, in my opinion. And Van Dijk didn't take to Twitter. Van Dijk didn't take to any kind of social media, to my knowledge, in which he expressed his outrage at the decision. He simply let it all out on the pitch, and seemingly afterwards, when he'd calmed down, he just admitted it, took his medicine, and came back stronger. Haaland didn't have a great game on Sunday, and I feel like the level of frustration for him boiled over basically from his own performance, I would imagine. But Simon Hooper was seemingly the ignition that it needed for that frustration from Haaland to boil over. Even so, I don't understand why they pick and choose these kinds of things. The hypocrisy of it, the inconsistency of it. It's weird to me. The making of example of the likes of Mikel Arteta and Virgil van Dijk in particular over the likes of an Erling Haaland, for example. It just seems very weird to me, and I just don't understand why Haaland or Van Dijk was made the poster boy of this kind of thing, whilst Haaland kind of gets away with doing it. And I'm not going to say it's worse than what Van Dijk did, because Van Dijk also had a red card on top of it. But for his, it's just weird to me. It's just very, very weird to me. City rightly get punished overall. Haaland gets away with it. I'm not 100% sure I understand why. I think Liverpool deserve an explanation, as well as Arsenal, on this particular matter, given what's happened in recent months in regards to, obviously, like I say, Mikel Arteta and Virgil van Dijk. But it is what it is. City are to get punished by the FA for surrounding the referee, as a lot of teams have in the past. But Haaland, for whatever reason in particular, gets away with any further punishment, despite a very verbal tirade against the referee, and of course taking to social media to voice his frustration further. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this Erling Haaland Manchester City situation? Was he right to voice his opinion? Personally, for me, I'm not going to say he was wrong to voice his opinion. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm mainly concerned by the way that the FA hasn't taken further action against Haaland when they did against the likes of Mikel Arteta and Virgil van Dijk for somewhat similar and not so similar things, whether you compare it to one of those two or not. I'd love to know what you guys think, though. I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, in the comment section down below, because I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Love to have you again soon. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.